Thank you, Ben. Hello and welcome to Glasgow and Scotland for the 8th Host City Conference, wherever you are in the world. My sincere thanks to Cavendish Group, Matthew and Ben, and all of the team, Glasgow for their continued support, and the fantastic array of speakers, and above all of you online for attending. It's good to be back in Glasgow, especially at this time last month. The eyes of the world were on the city, and indeed Scotland, as we hosted the largest gathering of heads of state alongside climate experts and campaigners for COP26. And indeed, this time last year, we were all gathered virtually for Host City in Glasgow during a year like no other. When we met last year, we focused on the big restart as we looked to recover from the pandemic. But this year didn't unfold quite the way many of us had hoped, with restrictions in place for longer than we'd anticipated, economic uncertainty, travel adaptations, and fluctuating COVID figures across the world. The recent new variant has brought further uncertainty for that future. However, this climate of consistent uncertainty has once again accelerated us all to work in different ways, developing a range of resilient responses, innovation, spirit, and adaptation. We saw the return of major events, including the postponed Euro 2020, and the Tokyo Olympic and Paralympics, albeit the latter pretty much behind closed doors. And as the year progressed, we've seen the welcome return of fans to events. Here in Scotland, 3 of the recent autumn rugby internationals were played in front of sellout crowds at Murrayfield, while Transmit, our Visit Music Festival in September, was one of the first opportunities for a large-scale audience to attend an event, with the festival able to host up to 50,000 people a day. These and many other events have taken place in front of strong audience attendance and have shown the appetite has not been lost for major events and live events. These events and others have been successfully delivered under a new norm, with COVID passports, PCR and lateral flow tests, and other mitigations such as face coverings all in place to minimise the spread of the virus, while keeping our sector open and operating. These are all positive steps forward in my view, but we cannot be complacent in our recovery, as there is still fragility in the event supply chain, along with the financial challenges that comes with implementing these additional health and safety and mitigation measures. It's not just the additional measures that we had to adapt to. Across the spectrum, we're also having to rethink out of necessity across a range of areas. Bidding, commercial viability, sponsorship rights, legacy impacts in a COVID-19 world, content distribution, media rights, the reordering of calendars due to postponements and cancellations, which will have a particular impact in 2022. Over the next 2 days, I'm sure we will delve into this and much more as we look to refresh, regenerate, and reconnect. 3 very important words as we're looking to continue our recovery of the events sector across the world, particularly when it comes to demonstrating the importance of events to our socio-economic ecosystem. The economic and social benefits of sporting, cultural and business events are widely recognised. Economically, they support thousands of jobs, both directly within the events industry itself, as well as wider sectors including hospitality and tourism. They also have a wider societal benefit and make a valuable contribution towards our health and well-being. Demonstrating how an event makes a difference both socially and economically will be at the heart of decision making even more so and in a world that has been shaken. Capturing and articulating these positive impacts and tangible benefits will be key. In an effort to demonstrate the societal benefits of events, in October, Scotland published the findings from a research project commissioned in collaboration with Scotland's Events Industry Advisory Group, which was established during COVID. This was to further understand and examine how events do and can increasingly contribute to Scotland's well-being. The contribution of events to Scotland's well-being shows that events can build healthier societies, connect communities, build local identity and pride. And we're now taking the findings from this research and its recommendations on how to develop the evidence base for measuring the contribution of events to the nation's health and well-being. I'm sure the impact of events and how they are measured will be a key area of discussion for many of our speakers over the next 2 days. If we really are to refresh, regenerate and reconnect, then we all know the importance and power of partnerships is key both at stakeholder, sector and government level to achieve success. Therefore, there is greater need to understand return of investment and benefits of events across a number of areas in order to ensure alignment with government objectives and policy drivers. Again, this is another area that I'm sure we're going to delve into over the next 2 days, including today's session before lunch, Partnership Approaches to Event Hosting, which features Trudy Lindblade, Chief Executive Officer for 2023 UCI Cycling World Championships, who can share how we're approaching this here in Scotland. Off the back of Glasgow hosting COP26, it would be remiss of me not to touch on sustainability and the role we all have to play in tackling the climate emergency. As we look to regenerate, amplification of environmental and sustainable drivers must be a priority for us all and the event sector. For us here in Scotland, our key objective is to promote our country as a leading responsible tourism and events destination to the world. During COP26, we joined tourism organisations from across the world to sign the Glasgow Declaration on Climate Action in Tourism, committing to acting to cut tourism emissions at least half in over the next decade and to reach net zero as soon as possible before 2050. Again, this is another topic that will be touched in further over the next 2 days, especially in tomorrow's session on how events and cities can contribute to environmental bottom line, which I'm sure will provide some helpful insights and strong discussions. Looking forward, there is much cause for optimism, but we must remain vigilant as we continue to plot our way out of the pandemic and rebuild the events industry globally. Here in Scotland, the pipeline for the future is exciting and strong, with a number of new and returning events, including the new format DNA European Athletics events, Extreme E in the Outer Hebrides, Unboxed, a UK celebration of culture. 2022 is Scotland's Year of Stories, the 150th Open at St Andrews next year, and all golf majors taking place in Scotland. The 2023 UCI Cycling World Championships, and of course last week Scotland were very proud and privileged to secure the rights to host the 2024 World Athletics Indoor Championships in Glasgow. So I remain positive that we will recover, however long it may take. We've got a great 2 days ahead of us. I'm looking forward to listening, contribution, and taking part in the knowledge exchange that will take place. I urge everyone to network where possible, explore the exhibition hall, and enjoy the stellar lineup of speakers that Ben and the team at Cavendish have secured for the 8th host city. And I sincerely hope that this time next year, we'll see you face to face in Glasgow and be able to celebrate with a wee dram of Scottish whisky. Thank you very much. Back to you, Ben.